Now that we've gone over the differences between the two balls, let's talk about why exactly you should buy quality over cheapness. As I've said before, one of the great things about basketball is that you don't need much to play basketball. Unlike other American sports like baseball, football, even hockey, where you have to have all of the equipment and you have to pay top dollar for all of it. It's all so crazily expensive. In basketball, I've always said you only have two basketball tools that you necessarily need, which are, one is your shoes. You have to have decently good basketball shoes, and you have to have a decently good basketball. Those are the only two basketball tools that you need. And think about the tools that you yourself use in regular everyday life. And I'm not talking strictly, literally about actual tools like drills and sanders and stuff like that. I'm talking about just any tool. Think about things like mouse, keyboard, laptop, smartphone, just regular everyday tools like that. Now let's say instead of buying a quality smartphone, you bought a cheap smartphone. And that smartphone only works like 80% of the time. Now 80% of the time is still a huge, major part of the time, but if your iPhone only works 80% of the time, imagine how frustrating that would be. Imagine if you had a video game controller and the video game controller only worked 80% of the time. That is completely unacceptable. That is very similar to having a cheap basketball, because for those of you who don't know, okay, just because a ball has decent grip on it and because it actually bounces, those two things don't mean that it's a good basketball. And look, I understand the logic of I'm gonna buy this ball as a gift for a kid who may or may not be into basketball, but I don't know for sure if they're going to be into basketball. In the example that you're buying this for a little kid who you don't know if they're going to be into basketball yet or not, if you buy a cheap ball that doesn't work, that if it's like this ball where it's already flat after only being out here for a few months, if this ball doesn't work, if it's not usable, if they can't use it, then they're obviously not going to use it. So there's no way for you to tell whether or not they're actually going to get into basketball because they now don't have a basketball to use.